from my heart and from my hand. Why don't people understand my intention?
So, good morning. I'm posting a little sooner than I originally anticipated. I don't know if any of you noticed, but after around about 36 hours, I took down the previous video and then re-uploaded. The reason for that is I got quite a few offensive and ill-informed comments regarding washing the engine outside near a storm drain. Now, what those people don't realize is that I was actually using a chemical capture mat that is used by a lot of industries to actually soak up paints and oils, etc., etc. So if they take a close look at that video, they'll actually notice that it's on the mat. So this is the mat that I'm using. It's a chemical capture mat used by a lot of industries for spillages, for chemicals, oils, paints, etc. And it's basically recycled materials turned into this loose fiber mat that is super absorbent, and as you can see by the difference in colour here, it does quite a good job of capturing oils and grease, etc. The heavier materials like oils and grease basically stay within the mat, and water is allowed to evaporate off or basically run off the end if you've got it over a table like I've got this one. So the water that was actually hitting the ground and going into the drain was no dirtier than you would find from rainwater. I have to pay close attention to these types of things in the area that I live. I would not have been allowed to wash an engine outdoors had I not been using a mat like this. So a lot of the statements on the video that I took down were actually incorrect. Care and attention was paid to the environment when I was cleaning the engine down. Anyway, time to move on to more positive things. So the final pieces to upgrade the engine have arrived. First one is I'm going to be running a 40 amp alternator versus the standard 55. As you can see, it's much more compact and lighter weight in that. I'm hoping I can get away with doing this because I'm going to be using a high power lithium battery as well as full LED lights on the car. There'll be no spotlights, there will be no radio, no speakers, etc. So this should be more than enough to actually keep the charge in the car itself. If you do one of these 40 amp alternators, the smaller ones, you also need a different type of fitting kit. You see here from the guys at DSN, sticking with the blue and orange theme. And then also we've got here their can get this thing out. Got their timing cover as well. Now I've used one of these before on a previous engine, and I must say I really do like them. I mean, it's a nicely sealed unit that has a O-ring around the edge of it that seems to do a much better job than the original OEM version, and also the breather on this as well is again very nicely done. So we're going to be fitting those, so let's crack on. So fitting this O-ring can actually be quite fiddly because it has a channel on one side of the cover and not on the front side of it. Once it is fitted, it is much better than the traditional gasket, so I do prefer to use these even though they can be a little bit tricky to fit. Now something else that comes in this kit is they provide you with the correct Loctite for each of the front cover bolts that you attach. It's the blue version, which is kind of a temporary hold rather than a permanent hold. So when you're putting this cover back on, just need to be careful that you don't trap the cover in the wrong place. Again, a little tricky. It's come out a little bit at the top there, just need to modify that. Try again. And then what we'll do is put some bolts in the corner just to use that as a starting point for the anchoring. I'll put the 4 main bolts in first before I put the front cover bolts in, just to secure it and to make sure that it's lined up properly. And just one last check to make sure we've not trapped it anywhere else, particularly on the bottom, because they have a habit of dropping to the bottom of the cover. This one looks okay. Last bolt in. And just slightly pinch it up. Not fully torqued down, just nice and finger tight for the moment until we put the final bolts in place. Okay, just a quick check. I think we're okay. Still in place. Now we can tighten the bolts a little further and start to add the cover bolts that will have the Loctite on them. So moving on from the timing cover and the new alternator, I did also spend some time rebuilding and cleaning the throttle body. Also a little paint, because on this flat section here they tend to corrode quite badly because water and sediment sits on top of it. So being painted, also redone the throttle, nice and smooth again. I did actually manage to find the original fuel lines on eBay, and as you can see, these ones have still got the factory fit quick connectors on them. I've not actually used these before, and I can't really find too much information in any manuals online about them, because if I look at the original car, I can't really re-engineer from this, because they've been cut at some point and then just attached with clips, and it's not clear if on the rigid line there's supposed to be another connector or whether this is just flared out in order for the quick connector to basically snap on. Originally the factory did it that way because it was much easier to then be able to drop the engine without disassembling completely the fuel lines. So if anybody's got any photos or images of the rigid part before it connects to the quick connector on these fuel lines, it would be appreciated. Just drop a comment or post a link if you can find that information. It would be appreciated. So I'm now left with a lot of parts that are finished. Brake housings, the housings for the torque, the throttle bodies all being cleaned up. yeah, it's a collection of parts now that are just ready to assemble onto the new body when it arrives. So actually running out of jobs to do, which is a strange thing to say at this point in time, but yeah, hopefully something comes soon. Anyway, as always, thanks for listening, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.